firstly, look, the airlines, we're all very grateful for the government payroll support schemes that have been put in place across Europe. And if you as an airline, we're grounded, our principal outgoing at the moment is payroll. And if we're receiving payroll support in Spain and Italy and Germany and France, Ireland and the UK, frankly, we need very little else to survive the next number of months while we're grounded. And yet you have Lufthansa going around Europe, hoovering up additional state aid. I think at last their request to the Germans, the Austrians, the Swiss and the Belgians is now over 12 billion euros. The French are looking for 10 billion euros. What exactly do you need 12 billion euros for on top of payroll support schemes? EasyJet, Ryanair, BA are not looking for state aid. We don't need it. We can survive without it. And what's clearly happening is you have the French and the Germans creating a huge fund, billions of state aid, that will allow them either to below cost sell against the likes of Ryanair on the recovery period, or will allow them to engage in M&A and just buy up all their weaker competitors when this is over. There should not be state aid on a country-by-country basis to their legacy airlines. If the governments want to provide additional assistance to the airlines, it must do it on a transparent and equal basis. For example, in Germany, refund or waive the travel tax, the environmental travel tax for the next year, 2 years. In France, the French government has rebated the airport taxes, but only to French airlines, not to the non-French airlines who also operate in France. It's completely unfair. It's clearly in breach of both competition and state aid rules. And as usual,
it's unfair, but it's not at this point illegal. That's the difficulty of you making a legal challenge. The EU Travel Commissioner was on Euronews last week and said that they've actually put in these rules so that they can try and protect these airlines. She did say this was temporary. Do you believe that, or do you think some of these measures might be in place for the long term?
Well, firstly, she's completely wrong. I mean, firstly, if you're putting in place these rules so the Germans can subsidise only Lufthansa, or the French can subsidise only Air France KLM, it is discriminatory and it is in breach of state aid rules. So the Transport Commissioner, who should be out doing something effective about refunds, instead of talking nonsense about these breaches of state aid and competition rules, these grants of state aid will be overturned by the European courts. There are precedents there that overturn these, because instead of the governments treating all airlines equally, they are massively subsidising the state aid junkies, such as Lufthansa and Air France. Alitalia has been renationalised, an airline that has never made money for 74 years. Why aren't all of the airlines? Ryanair is the biggest airline in Italy. EasyJet, I think, is the number 3 airline. We don't want state aid, but we would like to see significant reductions in the municipal taxes and the airport charges in Italy, instead of massive doses of state aid, crack cocaine to Alitalia.